Hello, my dear friends. Let's learn how to do garter stitch. It's quite easy. There are two ways to do it, and both ways will end up looking exactly the same, which is like this. So one way is to start with purl stitch. So you do purl stitch in the front side. You turn around, you keep on doing purl stitch in the back side, and all way long you go on with purl stitch. Another way you can do it is to start with knit stitches. So you do knit stitch in the front side. You turn around, you keep on doing knit stitch, and you go on with knit stitch, both on the front side and the back side all along. Both of them will look exactly the same, so you cannot discriminate between a garter stitch which was done with purls or with knits. You cannot say the difference. So this project, this is going to be a child's scarf, nothing fancy, just garter stitch. I started it with purl stitch, so I have to keep on with purls. I cannot switch in between. I'm sure you remember how to do purl, or you can watch the tutorial video that I had uploaded before, but I'll remind you now as well. When you're doing a purl stitch, you enter the loop from the right, you wrap around, you exit, and you pull. Enter from the right, wrap around, exit, and you pull. Enter from the right, wrap around, exit, and pull. Let's finish this row. Exit and pull. Enter from the right, wrap around, exit, and pull. And the final. So when we turn around, what are we going to do? Because we purled on the front side, now we have to purl in the back side as well. The first loop, that is untouchable, so we don't touch it. But the second and the rest, we have to purl. So I'll do few, and then I'll show you how it looks. Enter from the right, wrap around, exit, and pull. So let's say this is enough. So this is how we form. Oops, sorry. Little camera shake. This is how we form the garter stitch. You can do it either by purl stitch or knit stitch. So now we know how to do garter stitch, which is this part. I want to talk a little bit about this pattern's characteristics. When I started knitting, I learned purl stitch and garter stitch, but somehow I thought it both were the same and I got very confused. So I made this sample to so we can compare the two and see the differences. So you can see in purl stitch, there is not much depth to the pattern and it looks more like a two-dimensional pattern, whereas the garter stitch has much more volume. The waves are more pronounced, and there is this is more like a three-dimensional pattern, and it also has much more elasticity than the purl stitch. So also you can see this elasticity here. So it's something you should consider when you're preferring this stitch. We can compare the edges. So this is how the edge of purl stitch looks, and this is how the edge of garter stitch looks. If you don't like how this looks, if you find it unneat, then you can always consider doing an I-cord or something else at the borders. Another characteristic of garter stitch that I should mention is that it eats a lot of yarn. So if you're considering starting a project with leftover yarn, I suggest that you do not use garter stitch because probably you won't be able to finish, just use purl instead. So before we finish, let me show the difference between knit stitch and garter stitch. So they're very different, but I just want to show you that they actually go very well together. They look nice together. That's why they are used very commonly together in the same project. And so it wasn't the final. Now the final characteristic of garter stitch is that you see how this curls on itself. Knit stitch and purl stitch, they have this problem, but not with garter stitch. So you can use it on its own in a project. You don't have to combine it with anything else. So that's all for now. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and see you soon.